just moved to Florida. Congratulations, you made it. Number one thing that you're loving the most about the move?
There's nothing that I'm currently enjoying about the move.
No. I thought you were going to say the backyard, seeing Mackenzie run around and play.
Yeah, those are
Big
great.
old
That we have a big yard, that we've got a nice neighborhood, and that I'm paying the same for an acre as I did for a 4-bedroom apartment is fantastic. Volleyball Paradise out here, who is running lots of classes and leagues. They've been awesome. They invited me and my wife to the leagues and the meetups. So Jenna, who's running that, is legit. Volleyball Paradise out here, who is running lots of classes and leagues. They've been awesome. They invited me and my wife to the leagues and the meetups. So Jenna, who's running that, is legit. She's awesome. She's personable. She hustles. And they're trying to build a big facility out here. So like volleyball is strong out here. So it's been easy to get into the community. And if you guys are in Tampa or St. Pete, number one, I've got the Airbnb. You can schedule a vacation and live on a volleyball property, and I'll come over and coach you. But number two, if you're just visiting and you don't need a place to stay, and you don't necessarily need training, just look up Volleyball Paradise, look up Pelican City Volleyball. This one is admittedly clickbait and just for you guys' enjoyment. If you are listening, we've got some dirty rumors on partnerships, who's playing with who, some big changes that are coming to the World Tour. So you know, nothing's confirmed. This is the very high school version of rumors of who's dating who might be in a short-term or long-term relationship.
We don't know.
But we got some intel from our personal connections, and we're going to share it in this episode. Hey, everybody. My name's Mark with Better at Beach Volleyball. My co-host, Brandon Joyner, and we are going to share all of these goodies. So you might not get better at volleyball by listening to this specific episode, but we are going to share what we know, what we've heard, in case you don't know the inside scoop. If you've listened to the podcast before, you know that we run training camps. We've got online training courses, and we have regular classes and leagues in Hermosa Beach, California. And we have some upcoming camp and training dates if you want to train and get better at beach volleyball in person. So January 18th, that's already passed. That was in Santa Monica. We already ran that. That was a clinic in Santa Monica, which happens on a regular basis. So if you ever want to travel to California and get some training, just head to our website, betteratbeach.com. January 23rd in Loveland, Ohio, we will have 40 plus campers there and a rock star set of coaches. Brandon will be there. Logan Weber, voted second best blocker in the country, only behind Phil, who's just...
It's a cheat code anyway.
He's growing papaya trees based on personal conversations. He gave me a lot of recommendations on growing papaya trees in Florida. We won't get into that in this episode, but we will be at Phil Dahauser's Academy on February 6th for a 3-day camp. And he will not be coaching there, but he will definitely be making a bunch of stops, giving a few talks. So he'll be making sort of special appearances, but he's thoroughly enjoying his off season with his family. And that's his priority when he's not traveling for volleyball. So February 6th in Orlando, Florida, February 13th in Salt Lake City, February 20th in Madison, Wisconsin at the brand new 608 Beach. March 6th in Oklahoma City. There you will have both me and Brandon along with a few other coaches. And we go there because we consider it the best indoor beach volleyball facility in the country right now. We love it, love the vibe, love the owners. So if you want to come to Oklahoma City and check it out, it is a fantastic facility. That's March 6th. We're going back to 4th Avenue Beach, March 14th. That's in Seattle. March 20th, we'll be in Long Island, New York. March 27th in New Orleans. April 10th in Virginia Beach, Brandon's hometown. April 17th in Fort Myers. Fort Myers was awesome. last time. I'm so excited to go back there, and it's only an hour and a half from my new home, so I'm excited to go there in Florida in the winter and early spring. Can't beat it. May 22nd, we'll be in Lowell, Michigan with Tag Beach Volleyball. May 29th, East End Volleyball in Long Island, and May 29th as well, San Diego, California at Wave Beach, Matt Olson's club. So we got a lot of dates, a lot of opportunities for you guys to go to. If you are interested in like getting really, I'll say it like this. If this is your year, if you in January sat down and you said, this is my year, I'm going to crush beach volleyball. I've got the opportunity. I've got the time. I've got the dedication. Hit me up. DM me, Mark Burik on Instagram. I have a one-on-one program where we will seriously and legitimately increase your game, your fitness, and you get an all-inclusive camp pass for 365 days, so you can come to any camp whenever you want. It is a very unique program. I have very limited spots, but you've got to be fully committed, saying 100% this is my year. Anyway, we've got so many camps that this intro is starting to take longer and longer.
Taking a while, yeah.
Logan Weber, if you have any questions about Logan Weber and who he is and what type of guy he is, one of the best athletes in the world, he goes, hey, just kind of need to clear my head. You said you needed your car in Florida, right? I can drive it. I was like, are you sure? And he said, yeah. So he takes a 3-day cross-country driving trip. He arrived at 9:45 last night. Showed up, made a couple inside jokes with him. We chatted for a bit on what his season looks like. And then his flight was at 7 a.m. So we woke up at 4:50, drove him to the airport, and he drove back. He's like, well, I scheduled practices already. So dude takes a 3-day cross-country trip to drive to do a favor for a friend, and then schedules his flight for the next morning because he's got practice.
Yeah.
Like,
and then he's heading out on Thursday to go coach in Ohio with me. Guys all over the map.
I know. I was like, just stay here. Like, I'll get you reps. And St. Pete and Tampa have like an immense amount of volleyball. It's like, well, I schedule it with my partner. And that starts the partner change-up conversation.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as the shape of USA partnerships,
it's changed.
It looks like it's going to be a completely new lineup on the men's side and a lot of changes on the women's side. Yeah, it's this is the time of year that like we all, especially the ones of us that are removed, like this is what we're here for. Like we want the tea, we want the drama, we want to know what's going on.
Thank God we're not in it anymore.
No. I always had you.
Will you play with me? No. Will you play with me? No. Will you play with me? No.
You were at least a part of I think you were like a part of the late conversations around this time. I had to wait for all of these conversations to happen before I could even start my conversation. So, yeah, excited to be removed from it. But yeah, I think. Probably better to start on the women's side because we already have some announcements that have happened.
Official announcements.
Yeah. So we don't have to worry about Taryn and Kristen. They're still together. They've got their boy Drew over in Louisiana. They're crushing it. There are no changes.
They've got a little drama. We'll get to their drama with USA Volleyball.
Yeah.
But
I have an update on that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So Taryn and Kristen, they're good. One of the biggest changes that I'm really excited for, probably two that fall on that list. One would be Megan Kraft, who formerly played with Therese Cannon, part of the LA Launch family. Love that team. Dominated on the World Tour last year. They were really fun to watch. But Therese had surgery on her shoulder. So we wish her a speedy recovery. And because of that, she has decided to partner up with Kelly Chang. And
Kraft is a name that,
yes,
it's so she's not like one of the flashy, everybody knows who she is. And then when you talk to everybody on the inside who watches matches, takes stats, they're like, she's unstoppable. An incredible player, gets wins, generates points. And you're just, why isn't she more like household name, even though she's winning constantly on the World Tour. And now she's going with Chang, who has already been to the Olympics and is fierce.
Yeah. Arguably the best, maybe the best player in the US that we have.
Definitely the best on two-hitter.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's an exciting partnership. I love Megan. I think she is a baller. I haven't thought about it too much, but she might be my favorite player to watch on the women's side of the AVP. Yeah. Somebody who can move around like her on defense and then get up and crack balls. I just love that. You know, that's just more my
I still got a Megan Rice favoritism.
yeah,
just the way she cranks.
she
Like
jumps.
it's
so
just fun to see somebody jump and crank and actually like
right.
bounce.
They just, I think
But as far
AVP.
as like efficiency and points and smoothness, like that's a different story.
Yeah.
It'll also be interesting to see how Megan develops over her career with the arm swing and the physicality. So that'll be fun to watch as she progresses, which hopefully she sticks with it.
Yep. I have no doubt. I don't know who she's partnering with this year, which I'm sure will be a big announcement as well. Some other announcements. Another big one that I like a lot is Molly Turner, who used to play with Kelly Chang. They're obviously no longer together, and she is getting back with Tony Rodriguez. Coming off of a shoulder surgery. It seems like her. I don't know. I don't speak to Tony that often. I know her, but seems like recovery is going well. And I also really like that team. I mean, Molly is once again coming off of another up year. I feel like I say that every single time I talk to her.
Yeah.
But now for her and Tony to get back together, I'm not 100% sure on the true stats on this. If you can tell, we're not the best at doing our research, but I think they played 3 tournaments last year before Tony got injured, and I believe all 3 of them are medals. I think 2 of them they came through the qualifier and podiumed, and then I think the third one they were into the main draw already, but medaled as well. And I think they walked away with a gold, a silver, and a bronze. So
and here's the fun part. Just before I left California, I was out working with some players, and Theo and Molly were just working together, and it was interesting and awesome to see like 6'9" blocker on the men's side taking on one of the smallest defenders on the women's side, and then her saying, what can I learn from him? And him towards the end of the career getting definitely into a lot more coaching. What is she bringing for her that she doesn't already have? And always, with coaches, anytime somebody sees something in a slightly different light, whether it's a skill, a strategy, or anything, like if you're dedicated, peel that away from anybody even if it's in a different part of the game, a different gender, like doesn't matter. But it was fun to see Theo working with Molly in Hermosa and just coach on one practice, 6 and pretty basic feedback, but they had some good discussions, and it'll be cool to see Theo transition. I don't know how much he's going to play this year, but transition into that coach role. And I know USA Volleyball wants him on their side. And
I think he's getting ready to start his first season with UCLA as well.
That's right.
So, so he's got his plate pretty full right now.
It's almost disappointing. Like when I see, here's the thing with blocking. There are so few humans that have the height and the jump ability to teach men's blocking at a superior level through experience and through training and knowledge. The large majority of coaches, like 99%, they're like on the men's side, like 6'3" and under. They're an ex-defender, of course. It's pretty generic. And if we can get the guys like that who have blocked at the highest level to start teaching the young men, like these are elite block moves. These are the elite details. I know that the money is in NCAA women's, the money at stress is in
USA just dropped came across a lot of money. We'll get to that in a second,
Yeah.
um, but I think it's sounds like there's some potential there. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um,
I just to end that conversation,
yeah.
I wish more of the big guys would come back and mentor other big guys,
Mhm.
because that's going to be a very detailed um, access to a whole nother world of blocking that I didn't get introduced to until I got into the USA Volleyball practices, where it's like,
Mhm.
oh, you guys talk about that on a regular basis? I've never even had this conversation. I've been playing for 10 years. Like, this is another level of block moves and intellect. And if you can start that funnel going down and get the highest level, highest performing blockers who can also translate that knowledge, like, then USA gets back to powerhouse on the men's side.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it's necessary on the women's side as well, because I think we're seeing a little. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. I can't remember who it was, but there's obviously different phases of the game, right? And we see those changes. One of the easiest ones to talk about is when Sweden came out and they were jump setting everything. You know, that changed the game on the men's side. One of the changes that I've seen on the women's side is it's becoming more aggressive. You know, I think in the past it was a lot of accuracy. It was a lot of
Mhm.
shots, vision, see the court, hit open spots, and they were brilliant at it. You know, it's something that I think is a hard change, but now we're starting to see these tall, athletic players that are going up and just banging balls.
Well, I think that's an indicator of, it used to be beach had the leftovers from indoor. Indoor had physical people, opportunity to go pro, and then like, at least at the junior level, um, the people who could hit, they're going for their college scholarships, and they're getting indoor scholarships and indoor contract. And now in the last 10, 15 years, with it becoming NCAA and then it becoming juniors, it's not, it's still, now it's at least a financial scholarship proposition. Still not on the money side. Like, you can still go make six figures in Europe, and you have to be the best in the world to make six figures on the beach. But from a, I love this sport more than indoor, we're getting more of them. And so
Mhm.
we're getting more of the physical freaks on the beach that can
Right.
shoot or hit, where it used to be like, the people that can't really hit, now they're just turning into beach players. Like,
Yeah.
now we get a little share of both.
Right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exciting. Um, two more teams that I've been thinking about on the women's side. I'm sure I'm gonna miss a few, but um, I believe Julia and Lexi are staying together. Love that team as well. They're like right up there in the
Yeah.
conversation for me as far as Megan Kraft. Like those three, they might steal the show for me as far as watching this year. And then kind of just someone I enjoy a lot is Savvy Simo or sorry, now Savvy Corey. Um, had recently got her, I guess, over the winter and got it married to Evan. Congratulations. She is now partnering up with dang it, I'm
Oh
blank.
no.
Devin Newberry.
We don't
Sorry.
have editors, dude. You gotta nail
I know Devin Newberry, which I hate that I forgot that name because I met Devin for the first time this year, and she is awesome. She's so
Yeah.
nice. She's so bubbly. Like when she's on the court and when she's off, she like carries herself the same way, which I really appreciate that. So I'm excited for that team, and I want to give a big shout out to we put out a video last week about serving, and we gave a little shout out to Betsy Flint's little running float serve, and it sounds like
Mhm.
she's going to be back playing
Yeah.
with Lexi Denneberg.
Mhm.
So, um,
Do you know how
I
many kids she has now? I mean, she's been in the mom
she has
route. She
yeah.
had kids, came back, had more kids, came back. Like,
Mhm.
what a
Yeah.
champion to
Um,
experience it firsthand. Like, my wife's, if you guys don't know, my wife's a stunt woman, so she uses her body for a living. And to see her go through the level of physical turmoil in
mhm.
pregnancy and post pregnancy, and then make the comebacks that women who are in athletics that they make so quickly, it's freakish It needs intense dedication. You need to be 7, 8, 9 months pregnant. Like my wife was doing RDLs, heavy RDLs, 9 months pregnant, and her comeback is faster because of that. But like in pain, having to pee every 30 seconds, and you got to figure out like how to lift weights so that your comeback in 3 months is shorter. Like that's a level of intuition for your body that's unheard of. And then you see it happening on the world tour level as well, where you see a mom make a comeback, and you're like, dude, your body became a full nother body.
Yeah.
And then you just made a comeback. That's all the moms who are just doing volleyball and sports. Good on you. You're
Yeah.
machines. You're so much better than me.
Awesome to see role models like that. Especially with the growing of the women's side in the US, like having someone like her to kind of model your life after, I think is a good way to go.
Carrie did it. Like Carrie Walsh,
Yeah.
she played an Olympics pregnant in secret. But I was like, huh? This is
Unreal.
absurd. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So, but do you know who Betsy's playing with?
I believe it's the I think I just said her name, but the really tall girl. Played last year. She kind of hopped around last year. She was playing a little bit with Tony. And then played with Yolani. Denneberg.
Okay.
I believe
Yeah,
is the
Lexi
last
Denneberg.
name. Lexi Denneberg, yeah.
Yeah.
Who I think is she's somebody that I've seen has always had that word potential around her, and I think she certainly is still in that category. She has moments of greatness and puts it all together, and then she has moments where I think she would wish she was a little bit better, and so I think Betsy, as far as teaming up with her, there's a lot of upside there. I think I think about when Logan partnered up with Hayden for a summer.
Hell
It's
yeah.
like athletically, it's like, oh, do we go with that? But with the mind, it's like, all right, I'm going to get so much out of this. So, yeah, so I think that'll be exciting. Yeah, and then we move on inside. And
I got a lot of details last night.
oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
So the men's side, I don't think anything has officially been announced. USA Volleyball put up a post today. Today's Tuesday. This podcast will come out in a couple days, and I believe they're releasing this information tomorrow. So based on my research and my just looking at this reel, and they blacked out the players, so you're not supposed to know who they are. But lucky for me, I've watched so much volleyball that I see these movements, and I'm like, I think I know who these people are. And it sounds like Andy Benesh will now play this year with Taylor Kraft, which that's a fun team. First question I always get whenever those names kind of get tossed around, it's kind of fun here in Hermosa because when you walk down the Strand, you see the people and people are like, "Oh my gosh, did you hear about this?"
Yeah.
But asking about Miles, and I think Miles he's just taking a break. I think he just needs a little bit of time. Mark and I we were laughing a little bit yesterday about how people were saying like, oh, he might be like a little burnt out. He might just need to kind of reset. And we were laughing because even though Miles is so young, I think he's already played beach volleyball longer than you and I.
Half our age. And more volleyball a year. Yeah.
Right.
And he grew up with like club. His parents are owners and directors of club. So it was like he was probably playing or hearing practices in the womb.
Yeah. So for somebody, I mean, even myself, I struggled with burnout a lot, especially towards the end of my career. And it's really hard. It's tough to kind of fight that battle. So I'm proud of him for, and I mean, I could be wrong. Who knows? He maybe signs up for the first tournament, which I would love. I love seeing him out on the court. But if he
it's
decides,
understandable. You play the schedule.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
and I think that's the goal, right?
Okay, you've got, whatever, 50, 100 games. I don't watch sports. But you play 50 to 100 games in the NBA, but you're making that base salary and crushing it. And then even after like some financial enjoyment, people go, I just want to hang out with my friends in a pub, or I want to be with my family, or I want to like sit in my own couch because that's what I want to do. And then you take a look at the World Tour, and it's for somebody as hyper intellect as Miles, who knows what he can do in any other industry and make 5 to 10 times what he would make as a volleyball player, being one of the best in the world. Like, you've got to love the game. And I saw a clip of Sandcast, another volleyball podcast. Of course, it's doubtful that you guys are listening to this and not listening to Sandcast. But if you don't, it's Travis Mayweather and Triborn. And they talked about that for a little bit, where Trevor was on it, and he goes, I just haven't lost the enjoyment of being really good at volleyball and beating people.
Yeah.
And some people do. Some people get tired of beating people. Some people get tired of like the aggroness. Some people get tired of the travel, and travel is probably a big, huge thing. It's a grind to go on the World Tour like they did for the last, what is it now, 5-6 years. So if he needs a break, he needs a break. And like, who the hell cares? Because it's not like he's giving up this monster payday. The only potential he has is to make more money, if that's one of his goals. But if you're one of the people that slam somebody for having the talent that he does, and then saying that he's going to put it aside, like, it's his life. Grow up.
Yeah.
You know, he'll do what he wants. And it might be a 2-month break that he needs. I've taken those. I've taken month-long trips to Costa Rica and spoken to nobody and came back stronger. Like, that's that might be what he needs, and maybe he'll be in LA. Who knows?
I agree. Yeah. And then other than that, on the men's side, I don't know. On that same podcast that you're talking about on Sandcast, one of Taylor's big like sentences that I picked up on was that he doesn't think any of the teams are going to be the same.
No.
And I don't know. I mean, obviously we'll have to see where the cards fall, but yeah, it's just wild to think about. And because the only update I have on my end, and then I'll let you kind of.
I'm going totally rumor mill. I'm not even shy about it anymore.
Yeah. But I believe Kame had surgery this off season as well on his shoulder, so that means that James is looking for somebody. And
for at least a few months.
Right. And then I believe Hagen is not doing international tournaments, so that's kind of changed some things a little bit as well. Yeah, and that's really all I have. So now I'm throwing the ball to you, and I'm just gonna sip my tea and listen to the rumor mill.
So, yeah. All of this, don't treat it as permanent, because if you guys know volleyball, you know that in the first 6 months, everything changes with partnerships, live change, and after the first 2-ish tournaments, then there's another big shuffle. People realize, like, we're not on the same page, either mentally or physically. Like, we're good on paper, but we're not good together. So Logan will be playing with Timmy Brewster, who really exciting. And you guys noted, I was like, Tim can't generate points from the service line. And then you guys are like, but he's always in the right place on defense. Like, he scoops, he gets digs that nobody else does. He's got a ton of ball control, which might be able to unleash a little bit of Logan. And he's also ready and willing, like, commit full-time to practice, to travel, whatever. Like, Hagen's got other businesses, other endeavors, and he has to take care of his juniors club. So he always has to measure competing against running the rest of his future. So that's one of the big ones from our, like, close personal circles. And apparently, after, I didn't see it, but Logan released it or announced it, he got 3 more texts from other players who are interested. I think, and this might be totally false, so maybe it's clickbait, but I think James Shaw gave him a knock. Who are the other ones? One of the big ones, Evan was interested, like, hey, maybe we get the band back together.
I wouldn't have been surprised if that happened.
I've been voting for that for a long time. They were boys. Like they look good on the court together. They got such a good relationship. Evan can fire up. Sometimes in the far past, like his emotions run high, and then when they run low, that's when you're like, oh, okay, we got him. But he's been a lot steadier in the last few years, like emotionally, so he can keep it. And his physicality is unreal. His chase defense is something that just needs to pick up. You know, like chase defense, being able to bait people into stuff and then run down things that other people won't run down. But Trevor gave him a nod, and I was like, those are two relationships that are completely different personalities. You know, you looked at like kind of Theo and Casey, and you're like super fire guy versus super pretty chill dude, and now you've got Mr. Nice Guy Logan Weber. And the touted as and pridefully like the most evil guy on there. So it'd be so interesting to see that. Like I kind of remember way back in the day, like Stafford, Slick, and Adrian, where Stafford could fire up, but Adrian always had the chip on his shoulder, and you saw look at the different personalities. That'd be interesting. But I was like, undoubtedly Trevor knows how to win. And then we started talking. I was like, look at all of the different physicality and styles of partners that he's won championships with. Like a 6'5" indoor player, Reed Pretty. His brother Taylor Crabb, 6'1", like gritty defender. He's one with like 6'9" lanky guys. Like he just gets it done. And then playing with Phil, like it is hard to turn down Trevor's level of success. And you know that he wants it, he still loves it, he likes to compete, so that's always something not only worth considering, but you're like, okay. Let's see. And then on the practice forums where you do the walk down Hermosa and Manhattan, since Game is injured, Shaw was practicing with Miles Evans. Whether that's, hey, I need a guy who want to get out and get some reps. Whether Miles is looking at another very athletic, very threatful blocker. Really hard to turn away. Chase Buttinger's side out percentage and efficiency, crazy. But people are always looking for what they think is the next best thing. It's not always greener. And who knows? And then you're always in every sport. You get the paper teams that you're like, of course it would be awesome. And then you put them on the same court and it's garbage. Or you get the paper teams that you're like, no, that's not going to work out. And you're like, whoa, for whatever reason, they found this connection and now they're elite. Lots of shakeups. And then more rumor mill stuff from USA Volleyball, and this might generate some heat in the comment section. There are rumors and an announcement from USA Volleyball that went to the players that, in so many words, said USA Volleyball might be or is trying to progress or regress, depending on how you look at it, to the system that so many other federations use, where the federation and their coaches choose the partnerships. USA, I don't know about the money thing, but I'd like to hear about that. But, they're working on their coaches. They're working on their pipelines. They know that they're based in California. They want their players to be dedicated to showing up at the practices in California. This is going back to the beginning of the podcast where we talked about Taryn and Kristen, who are like, we have our home. It's New Orleans. Like, this is where we live. This is where we train. And we've shown you that we can be the best in the world by being here. They would be vehemently against needing to move to train under that. And so this is only opinion based, and whatever you comment or whatever you want to project, you don't have the sport stats to prove it in any way, and it would be very hard to prove which is better. But we're stoked to hear your opinion, so comment on the podcast, comment on whatever this is appearing. But do you go complete free market and kind of capitalist, and let players choose, like the USA has done forever. And we saw success a long time ago, but in the last 2 cycles, it's been a bit rough. The rest of the world has caught up, and then really caught up, like beating us, where we're not the world threat that we used to be. Or do you trust in your pipeline, your system, and the coaches that you hire to say, yeah, we're taking overhead control, and we know that we can coach people up in a long term if we make the choices. We think that we would be smarter than the high school dating scenario that is currently USA Volleyball.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting to see. I think from what I've heard, they're setting a lot of regulations on the men's side. What I've heard on the women's side is that that's going to be something that they keep looking at and monitor. Probably changes wouldn't happen until after 2028. Which I think is okay, because I think the women's side, they've proven that they're successful. They're not only are our top teams extremely successful, but like if you look at the amount of women that travel to challengers, elite tournaments, and medal, I would love to know how many USA medals we had last year from different people.
Yeah, we got like our 5 through 8 through 10 women's teams who are medaling on the world tour.
Right.
That doesn't happen for the men's side.
So the women's side looks fantastic. On the men's side, as long as far as this new organization, as far as I know, pretty much they just want them to commit to USA. And with that, USA, from what I've heard, is trying to provide as much as they can and make the system work that they are also giving back to the players. A couple people have sent me an application for the head USA job. I personally don't really want that. I don't even know if I have, one, the time, or two, the qualifications to run something of that magnitude. But the initial link that I saw said that it's 150K. And so that person, I think, would be in charge of running the practices, creating the schedules, everything like that. They also want all of the teams that are representing USA to work with a USA coach. So, so that means that after they hire this head coach, obviously assistant coaches will follow, and I'm assuming that teams will be assigned to people. I don't know how that breakdown will be, but causes some issues. I mean, just some complications, because in the past, I know if you're thinking about really the two teams that represented us in the last Olympics on the men's side, both of their coaches weren't USA affiliated. I believe Dan, he might have some connection, but I don't believe he was an official coach of USA Volleyball. I think he obviously had safe sport and everything like that he needs to be at the events. And then Miles and Andy, I think they kind of bounced around. They had play check going into the last Olympics. And then this year, I believe they had Theo for a little bit, and then they had their trainer from down in Orange County, runs Training Metrics. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Oh, Nathan Michaels.
Yes, Nathan Michaels. Yes. So, and I think that's really the only point that's a little up for debate right now, is because now, I think there's a handful of players that currently train with Nathan, and wondering, now they're saying that you have to train at the USA gym. Which, there's obviously going to be pros and cons to both of these things, but having a system, I'm, as far as a business person and organization person myself, if I was having a call with USA Volleyball, these are the type of systems I would want to implement. So I can't say that
it's right now to be leadership in USA Beach Volleyball. It's pressure less.
Yes.
Nothing falls on you, because all of the players who succeed, they get to make all their own choices. If they succeed, you reward them with a stipend. And then through that stipend, they can pay whatever coaches they want, how much ever they want. which creates this whole like stupid debate of, hey, does a coach take a percentage of your winnings? Do they get an hourly fee? Do they get a travel fee? Which is a headache for great coaches who should be coaching internationally, but internationally players can't afford to fulfill that coach's life. And so now if you move to the system, the leadership has hardcore pressure to succeed, where that's what the position should be. But if they leave it the way it is, there's really no pressure that you could put on that person because it's so laissez-faire.
Yeah, even if you look at other sports like the NFL right now. We're in playoffs. A lot of teams are losing, and a lot of surprising head coach firings. Like you have these big names like John Harbaugh, who's been with the Ravens for a while, that got let go. I'm a Bills guy, and just got rid of our coach. So it's like, and it's had some pretty good seasons, but it is nice to see that there's some accountability with that position. Even those two teams who have had MVP caliber players on their roster, and then all of a sudden they lose in a playoff that they're not supposed to. And it's like, all right, good try, but also we're going to move on because we expected you to get this done. So yeah, I think there's a lot of moving pieces right now. But I think the pressure goes and is going into the right spots, like you said. I think from my experience with USA and I was never one of the top teams, but anytime I tried to have a conversation with them, I never really got an answer. And so I'm hoping that this new direction kind of makes whoever's that head guy or girl, I hope they kind of just welcome that idea. I think it's really amazing to have that opportunity and to be able to say that you represent USA Volleyball as well. I think you and I can both think back to the first time that we put on a USA jersey, and it's pretty cool. Like the second that you like put that jersey on, you're like, okay, like I'm playing for something a little bit more this tournament. And I think whoever gets that gig, like I hope every day when they put that USA shirt on, that USA hat, like I hope they walk into that office thinking like, all right, here's another day I have an opportunity to improve. It's not just them, it's their making sure their coaching staff is on the same page, making sure that they understand that they're gonna have to have tough conversations with players. And those need to be.
Yeah, right now there's no tough conversation you can have with a player. And so just like, oh, you want to put pressure on me? Okay, I'll pay somebody else $50 an hour to lead a practice in Hermosa.
Exactly. Yeah. So
all right,
it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think especially on the men, I kind of like what they're doing as far as the delay on the women's side, because I think the men we need a little bit of guidance. Just because I think the guys that are playing would agree that they didn't get the finishes that they wanted, and it's not just magically going to appear. Like new ideas have to be implemented, new structure has to be implemented, new strategy has to be implemented, all of this stuff. And it's going to take someone who's pretty gutsy to go in and realize that like USA Volleyball, not only we have to worry about the partnerships, but we also have to worry about how are we approaching training. Like one of the biggest downfalls that we have in the US might actually be our domestic tour, is that they're playing on this international circuit and then they show up to an AVP and their first 3 rounds are cakewalks. And they show up to these games and they're running these basic systems of pass, set, up and really high up and down hits, going up and just banging over people who are 6'4" on the net. And then the next week they have to go play in an elite tournament where nobody's running the same play every single time. They're all spreading offenses. Their tempos are different on each set. They have these systems that they've dialed down, and then we're trying to catch up.
Tempo of the game is different.
Yeah.
Like refs rush it.
Right. And so I think hopefully just that, I hope we're bold. I hope we welcome that idea of changing and like challenging these players' athleticism. So but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think it's kind of a toss up right now. I think you can talk to one person and they're like, I don't get it at all, it's stupid. And then you talk to another person and they're like, I kind of get it, and so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple weeks, because I know they're hiring. They just put that application out for the head coach recently. And then I'm assuming assistants would come after that. And then hopefully some form of group training starts happening where we get to see all those guys together on a plan and kind of start
And at
developing.
least on the men's side, a little more pipeline-esque because we don't have the NCAA. NFL has the NCAA. Now the women's side has NCAA. That's the pipeline.
One of the only things that I worry about is like we've established Hermosa, Manhattan, Redondo, South Bay as the home of USA Volleyball, and it's tough because it is so expensive here. So the fact that we're making it a home, and we have these young kids that are graduating college, and we're like, oh, you're in the pipeline. Move out to Hermosa Beach where your rent's going to be $1,500 a month, and you're also a full-time volleyball player.
For a room.
Yeah. And so it's like, I don't know. That's one of the only setbacks that I really see is like Taryn and Kristen. They're evidence that it can work, but obviously their evidence is they had a coach that they've been working with. They have a structure. They have everything. So. Yeah.
All right, guys, that's our rumor mill. Hope you liked the episode. We are heading out.
If we were wrong about
rumor, and if you want to,
if you're wrong, don't put it on us.
Share it with everybody. Who cares if it's right or wrong?
Yeah.
Again, camp dates: Loveland, Ohio, January 23rd; Orlando, February 6th; Salt Lake City, February 13th; Madison, Wisconsin, February 20th; Oklahoma City, March 6th. Seattle, March 13th, Long Island, March 20th, New Orleans, March 27th. That just appeared in the last 5 minutes. April 10th, Virginia Beach, and April 17th in Fort Myers. If you want to train with us, AVP players, AVP coaches, NCAA players, NCAA coaches, IBB, etc. We will be there, and we'd love to help you get better. But for this episode, hope you enjoyed it.
I got a 30-second question for you. You just moved to Florida. Congratulations, you made it. Number one thing that you're loving the most about the move?
There's nothing that I'm currently enjoying about the move.
No. I thought you were going to say the backyard, seeing Mackenzie run around and play.
Yeah, those are great. That we have a big yard, that we've got a nice neighborhood, and that I'm paying the same for an acre as I did for a 4-bedroom apartment. Is fantastic. Volleyball Paradise out here, who is running lots of classes and leagues. They've been awesome. They invited me and my wife to the leagues and the meetups. So Jenna, who's running that, is legit. She's awesome. She's personable. She hustles, and they're trying to build a big facility out here. And Tyler Penberthy, who has also played on the AVP.
My guy.
He is running Pelican City Volleyball, and just played in a threes grass event with one of our better beach coaches, with JM, and we did all right for a while, and then we didn't. So like volleyball is strong out here, so it's been easy to like get into the community. And if you guys are in Tampa or St. Pete, number one, I've got the Airbnb. You can schedule a vacation and live on a volleyball property, and I'll come over and coach you. But number two, if you're just visiting and you don't need a place to stay, and you don't necessarily need training, just look up Volleyball Paradise, look up Pelican City Volleyball, because they are doing things right over here in Tampa and in St. Pete. And just run by good, like full heart volleyball people. And if you need more info, I'll just connect you directly. Just message me on Markberg. So it's been nice to move to a location where volleyball is thriving.
Love it. Perfect.
All right. From me, from Brandon, we will see you on the sand.
See you on the sand.
Peace out.